All right. Hello, everyone. Alexa, turn on studio lights. I'm looking a little dark. Let's make this happen. There we go. A little brighter. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Paul. I'm going to dive into this Photoshop masterclass, which is all about all those, I don't know, commonly overlooked features. Hello there. So yeah, some of those things that are just missed, they're obviously like the big headliners, which is like, neural filters, some of the liquify face aware stuff, that stuff people know about. I'll still cover some of those, but just the overlooked features that often, you miss because, hey, we're always releasing stuff. So that's the idea. I'm glad you guys are here. And I want to give a warm welcome to Afroja. I see you there. Nicholas out on Facebook. Christelle, Andreas, Reverb Mike, Susan Wilson. And I have a document that I'm going to share with you as well. So yeah, you can see it, of course, right here. I'm going to go ahead and, you can see right here. This is the document that I have, Photoshop commonly overlooked features. I'll share this with you. In fact, I'm even thinking about making it, this is going to be, I guess, an exercise in trust. Because I don't have, what's the word I'm looking for? I haven't cornered the market. I don't know everything, basically, is what it comes down. So basically, what is your favorite, hidden feature? Right there, let's add that. If you guys want to add your own to this document, you can. But yeah, I'm going to be using this just kind of to reference. So there's quite a few in here, but I'm going to share this at the end just so you know. So I'm going to share this out with you guys. Feel free to add yours right down here. What is it? So let's get started. So I'm going to share that with you, not to worry, but I'm going to go through this right now. Of course, not in Illustrator, in Photoshop. So here we are in Photoshop. Isn't this fun? So welcome, everyone. I kind of want to talk about navigating files. Let's just take a look. Sort of dealing with files and finding stuff. Sometimes I don't know where my files are. I'm not going to lie, especially if I'm opening up lots of files. Oftentimes they're in downloads. I'll have these files open. I don't know where they are because they could be pretty much anywhere. If you ever need to know where a file is, you could right click and then reveal in Finder. So that's something I actually do a lot, just to be aware of that file. So this one, again, reveal in Finder like so. So what if I have this one? And actually, let's change this. Let's add some text. Product to, whatever. Has a certain number. Here's your product page. And you might have your product right in here as well, sitting here. But this document, I'm going to save it, by the way. I'll save it, again, wherever, to my desktop. I'm going to make this a template. So this is going to be my product page, my product PSD, closing that. That's the template file, just so you know. So did you know you could jump in, and if you need to make a PSD a template, right, it's just a matter of naming it PSDT. Now you can never overwrite it. Not sure if you knew that. Would love to hear your pro tips. As well as we move along. Bruce. All right. Yeah, okay, cool. We'll get into that file, when you get into really complex files, how to deal with those. But what's cool about this is I could come in here, double click. When I open it up, look what happens to the name. It's now a brand new file. Makes it a brand new file if you just name it a PSDT, just so you know. Okay. Another thing you could do is if you do have a complex document, I'm sure I have, I have plenty of complex documents in here. If we go into compositing, so let's take one that's really complex, like this one. You know, this one has lots of layers. I just want to look at it. I just want to open up a flattened version of it. So if you hold down Shift, Option, and then open it, holding down Shift and Option, open, it will open up a flattened file. So read the composite data instead. It now opens up a flattened version. So if you have really complex files and you just want to open it up as a flattened version, Shift, Option, and then open it up. Cool. That's another one of my tips, just so you know. Thank you so much, Simi. You're awesome. What's going on? So my goal is to, again, like stuff that like I do, that's helpful hopefully to you. What I do a lot too is like I set up my shortcuts. Do you guys do this? Like, again, this is my popular ones. Like I tile my documents, right? And then I consolidate to tabs. These are just shortcuts I do to look at files, right? So I can kind of compare these two files. If I want to compare these two, guess what? I can hold down the spacebar. We know spacebar will pan around one image, but if you know, hold down the Shift key, you know you can pan around both. So you can be like, okay, what's the difference between, you know, her face here and her face here? Oh, it's this branch, right? So it just allows me to pan around two at once by holding down the Shift key, right? Cool, then jump to this one, shortcut key, boom, we're back here, stuff like that. Cool. Yeah, find that branch, move it around. Man, my Photoshop is running so slow. I don't know what the deal is. Hello, Nicholas. Thanks for joining me. If you're elsewhere on Facebook or YouTube or anywhere else, would love to hear from you as well. All right. Yeah. So, let's another thing. Oh gosh, I can't even remember half the tips that I've forgotten more things that I know these days. All right, so let's take a look at this because I've done some shortcuts. By the way, so that's what I've done up here. If you go into Arrange, these are the two shortcuts that I've just talked about. You can see I just mash a bunch of keys together and then I do, you know, R, for instance, or T for tile, right? So that's what I'll do for these. But you could do more than that as well. In fact, let's go into Edit down to keyboard shortcuts. You guys know how to do that stuff. Let's go into menus. Okay, because in menus, this is what you can do. So this is an annoying thing. This is just a little, I don't know, it's kind of annoys me. The fact that like I have version history right here, right? But you know what we did is we put it also under file over here, version history, right? So I don't need this. I don't need a number of things that actually appear in these menus. So you can go to Edit, Menus, we'll go to File, we'll scroll down to Version History. We say, hey, you know what? It's already a menu panel. Let's not make it confusing. Let's just turn that off. Another thing I never use is print one copy. I never use that. One thing I do use a lot of as I go into File is Puppet Warp. So here you can highlight the things that you use a lot. So I'll change this to red. So I use that a lot. Of course I use Free Transform, but to be honest with you, like I use that shortcut a lot. So Content Aware Fill, again, I can come in, change that color as well. So do that for things that you kind of access a lot. And it might make your life easier, right? Filter. I'm always kind of having a hard time finding, not this, but camera raw filter, right? I'll change that to red. I don't use adaptive wide angle that much, but that's all. And by the way, if you turn off something, let's turn off adaptive wide angle. We'll click OK. We'll go into filter and look. So the adaptive wide angle, I just like rarely use it. Well, guess what? First of all, notice how this is highlighted. That's great. But it's right down here now. Now it's under Show All Menu Items. So from there, I can show everything, think, right? But again, only when I need to. Oh, good, Michelle. Thank you. You are too kind. I always want to have you here. I saw red. Reverb mic. And I close the door. A little Warrant, huh? Old school. I'm into it. So you can see Puppet Warp's highlighted. And again, like I said, under File, I don't need all that craziness, but it's always going to appear under Show All Menu Items. So yeah, clean things up. You know, make it easy for you. Add those shortcuts and do all that fun stuff. And then let's get into this other stuff as well. We'll get into the history panel. We'll get into layers panel, all that good stuff. Excuse me. Also right in here, by the way, let's take a look. Let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at all this craziness. I show this every time. You guys probably know about this. I can't tell what's what. Like layer 18, I really don't know what these two layers are. What the heck are they? What is that stuff, Paul? You could do better than this. All right. So what you need to do there is go to your flyout menu for your layers panel. Go down to panel options, right? And right in here, instead of showing the entire document, right? Because that's what's happening with layer 19 and 18. I want to change this to layer bounds. So it's just going to show me the object on that layer. Why this isn't checked by default? It might be these days. I have no idea. But also turn off this stuff. I'm like, don't expand new effects. Don't add copy to everything. I don't need that stuff. And that's all I do. Click OK. Boom. And now we can see layer 18 and 19 are leaves, as you can tell. So that's all. Another thing I'll do a lot of is another change I'll make to my menus real fast. Layer bounds is great, isn't it? Yeah. So I'll toggle things on and off, especially when I get a lot of like color lookup and like adjustment layers in there. I'm like, sort of my final process is like adding all these like sort of color overlays to see what looks good. But I want to be able to remember which color overlay looks good. So right in here under history, we can go to history options. I already have it checked. This is kind of confusing, but make layer visibility changes undoable, which means you can undo, you have that layer visibility will now get listed in here. Because if you're ever turning on and off lots of things and you're like, oh no, I want it like it looked, say, 4 steps ago, you want to be able to toggle back to that. So if you're toggling a lot of things on and off to kind of get the look that you want to make sure you can go into the history panel and change it back. All right. Okay, so, yeah, Vanessa. Okay, cool. And you can increase the preview size as well, which is so good. So let's talk a little bit more about kind of just being able to see everything, which might be helpful. So let's just kind of make the thumbnail size a little bit larger. Let's go through this because I think this is hugely helpful. I do this all the time. Like things get messy and I end up with like all these layers and some of them are used, some of them I'm not using. Right, and I used to, and I still do, I will put things in a separate folder that I want to save for later, or I'll just turn them off. But what you can do right up here, by the way, you could sort through all your layers. So you can come in here and you can change this to attribute. Okay, so I'm not, oh, it's already off. But the attribute, let's turn this back on. Okay, so I already had this set up, but I'll change this to attribute. The attribute is going to be visibility. So notice how if I scroll up, all this stuff is going to disappear because I don't need it. I have all the elements in place that I want, but I just don't want to don't show me the backup stuff. So that's when you change this to attribute and then just show me the visible content that I can use. And then I can always quickly toggle that back on, as we can see right over here, pop, and it turns them all back on. So use some of these properties and you can go crazy in here. Like if I wanted to see everything that's not visible, guess what? Turn that. Boom. Here's everything that's like not visible currently in my file. Oh, you know why these are you know why this is set up? Because it's inside of a folder. Even though it has that eyeball and it's grayed out, it's inside a folder that's turned off. So technically it's not visible, but you can see all these not visible things that are just bloating my file. So I could always change this attribute to not visible, select everything, and then delete them to clean up a file, right? Great to see you, Bruce. Hello, Bruce. How you doing? The one and only Bruce is in the house. So again, you can kind of go down this all you want, selected, artboard, all that fun stuff. Pretty awesome. So yeah. Let's take a look at this, by the way. Let's take a look at this. All right, here's another thing I like to do. Another like pro tip, right? Kind of, I don't know, an overlooked feature. Notice how this curves is a clipping mask, so it's just affecting this woman. It's just affecting her, right? We can turn that on and off and you can see what's going to happen. Sorry, this is going so slow. Yeah, see the non-visible things, exactly. It's crazy. Is that even possible? So turn this on. Here's what I've been doing lately, and I just showed this like I think last week, but you could take this curves layer, bring it in here, and still have this curves adjustment layer affect everything in this folder. How do you do that? You go to the folder itself, up to the top, and rather than pass through and affect everything underneath, which is what it's doing, because it's actually, this curves is affecting this background and making it way blue. You could change this to normal. Normal for the folder. So pass through, normal. Okay, that's what I want. Just affect the woman. So I could have as many adjustment layers inside of this folder and it won't affect the layers beneath it outside of that folder. Okay. Can we make it bigger? Of course, clients. Crazy clients. We could talk about, so I'm talking about sort of like, I don't know, I'm kind of talking about like optimizing Photoshop, setting up your menu items, editing your panels to make them optimized. But you could also get into, obviously, all of these additional panels. So sorry this is going so slow. I might close one of these. Yeah, I might close that one. Sure, we can save it. Let's close that one. Everything's going a little slow. I don't know why my machine's working extra hard right now. Okay, so here we are. Again, similar file. But look at, this is the big thing right in here. It's like, look at all these amazing gradients that I have. Oh yeah, so nice. So many gradients. Right, you want to go to all these panels, and this is for all of your presets. Add your legacy. So I can add legacy gradients. Let's move my head over to the other side. You can see everything. Zoop. And here's my legacy gradients. So this is going to give you the ability, like, oh, here's everything, right? Technically, everything is named. So if you wanted rainbow, you can just type in rainbow. I put everything in one big folder because it's easier to view. So again, here's all the stuff. It's all beautiful. Rainbow. There we go. There's our rainbow stuff. You could search on those. I dump everything into one folder and I just scroll it, right? So that's how that's done. Let's delete that stuff. So what do? You end up with gradients. You end up with brushes that you can also search. Let's go into shapes. Here's a ton of shapes. Here's a ton of styles. What? Oh, I got to clean this up. Oh. Man, what is going on, people? It's very weird. All right. Anyways, you have styles, shapes, swatches, patterns, all that good stuff. So all these are actually synced with Creative Cloud. So if I have it on another machine or I upgrade it, I want to make sure if I go into General, Preferences, Preset Syncing. So the idea is we only sync this up once. The thing is I think I must have a beta version of Photoshop that's conflicting, which is why it's giving me these additional shapes from MacBook Pro. So anyway, that's all. So, and again, what you want to do is you want to add those legacy styles and more. Okay. Cool. So that's what I would do. Again, tricking out Photoshop, you can load up all of those preset panels, but you can load up different things as well. Like you can take, for instance, as I'm working on this, right, I want to add a lookup table to it, right? So we'll go down here, we'll add a lookup table. So for a lot of these, we'll do color lookup right in here. You can load additional lookup tables, right? So click right there, go out, download whatever you want, download those LUTs, those cube files, and add it like so, right? You can add it and it will load in. Okay, so that's one thing you can do, right? There's my undeniable cube. Just search for them, super easy. But what you can do is you can actually load them, all of them into the presets, into the preferences, I guess. Doesn't matter. All you need to do is search. Search for two-strip look. You're like, where the heck is that on my desktop? Two-strip look. Let's do that right now. Search two-strip look. Hopefully I spelled that right. Was it a look or two-strip look? Yeah. Go back out. All right, so look that up, find that file. I don't know why it's not coming up right now, dang it, because I already loaded up all of those. It's basically going to be inside of your preferences. Let's see, your library, probably, I'm guessing. Yeah, why is that not coming up? Anyways, I've already put it in that folder. That's so weird. I'm so sorry, everyone. Three-strip look. Let's try this one. Why is it not finding it? Strip. Oh, okay. Okay, there. Who knows why that first one wasn't found, but here it is. So you do a search for it. You could find it's in presets. So yeah, applications, Adobe Photoshop presets, LUTs. So you can show that in closing folder, right? You could load everything up. So that's all I did is dropped a bunch more in there. So now I have all of these like passing by, once upon a time. Let's try once upon a time. I actually liked that, undeniable. There's once upon the time. Let's jump that layer. Let's try a new one. And again, you just kind of get to play some of this. I have two undeniables in there. Let's try Urban Cowboy just for fun. Buy more RAM. That's right. Ooh, this is nice too. This is Urban Cowboy. But this is what happens when you're working on something. You're used to looking at it. You're used to having it look a certain way. When you change it to anything else, it's going to look better just because it's a change. So you really need to when you get to this point, you need to kind of like step away, then come back and look at it with fresh eyes. All right, let's move on. I got so much more to show. History panel, loaded up patterns, things like you could do this, by the way, like this is kind of fun. You could take your paint bucket and I actually will like sample this sort of, and why does it not like me? There we go. Ooh, this sometimes happens. You guys ever do this? This is just something to run into. Sometimes you'll be on an adjustment layer and you're not able to sample a color because it's all based on like the layer that you're on. So it's trying to find, it's just going to sample white. So I need to be on like a pixel-based layer and then I'm able to sample these colors. So I'm just sampling that blue. I'm going to my paint bucket. If you hold down the Shift key and click, you can change that background color to whatever you want, right? So again, if you want to do that, you can. If you're looking at brightening up your day, I'm kind of into that too, by the way. I like it. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Frank. Sampling the mask color, so annoying. Another annoying thing, you're always going to run into this. People do this all the time with brushes. Like, so let's just say we'll turn this on and we'll start painting or whatever. A lot of times your brush, wait, hold on. You won't see your brush. Your brush will actually be these little crosshairs. You're like, hey, how the heck, like, where's the size of the brush? Well, it's because you have your caps lock on. So turn off caps lock, and then you'll actually be able to see your brush size, right? Super annoying, and I'll run into that. I'm like, man. Since I'm talking about brushes, right, let's talk about like dodging and burning and some more pro tips, shall we? Right down here, we want to add a new layer, but this time we're going to hold down the Option key and we're going to click. Option click brings up this dialog, right? So what I want to do is I want to do a dodge and burn, but not on the actual layers, because I used to mash everything together and literally do dodge and burn tools, right? But you don't need to. Just jump in here, change this to soft light, and then when you change it to soft light, you can say, hey, fill this with a soft light neutral color. So 50% gray. That's all it's going to happen. Guess what? Nothing happens. But here's your soft light. So that's your shortcut for, and in fact, let's just go to attribute. That's your shortcut. Instead of making a new layer, filling it with gray, changing it to soft light, I kind of almost do it in like one move. So jump in here, and then we can go ahead. We want to burn in some places. We're just painting with black, right? We'll highlight on the top part. So we'll hit X to flip those colors, and then sort of dodge above, right? You get the idea. That's your dodging and your burning. And X to flip the colors. Okay, another thing I'll do, and I'm getting ahead of myself, is that like overlay. It's kind of like overlay. Overlay adds that, like, gives everything like a pop of color is what I think overlay does. But soft light just will show. If it's 50% gray, soft light will not show it. Overlay affects even the 50% gray. Okay, so we can kind of do some dodging and some burning in here, right? All that fun stuff. Here's something else that I like to do, and this is a finishing move, and I don't even know if this is a pro tip. I would file this under like a Paul hack. This is totally a hack. I would select everything. I would do, copy merged, file new, paste it in. So this is just a new flattened version of this file. Because what I want to do is I want to go into mode. There's certain adjustment layers that you can only do on a flattened image. One of those happens to be HDR toning because it's used to being used with like one photo. But we can add some HDR toning to this. So here it says it will flatten it. That's why I made the new file. But now we could start to play with sort of giving it that electric look. So that's what I'll typically do. I'll jump in here. I could try photorealistic, I like. So there it is. So we have our before and then we have our after, right? So we can get even more crazy. We can go into, I really like Scott 5. Scott 5 is going to be pretty electric as well. So it gives it that HDR look, right? So our before and our after. And what I'll usually do is I'll like mix the two, right? So I'll typically do like a Scott 5. I'll take that Scott 5, copy it, and bring that back into my original. Again, like I said, this is more of a Paul hack than an actual, if I wanted to keep like the dark colors, I can change it to lighten. But look what it does though, by the way. It like just gives it, this really like unifies a piece, but look at it, give it that pop. Let me turn off this. Sorry, this isn't as instantaneous as I'd like it to be. But look, so see how it adds those nice highlights, but doesn't really work so much on the blacks. It just makes it look gorgeous. Yes, thank you, Carol. Exactly right, Carol. I'm so sorry. You could totally do that. You can do that on a merged layer still in this file. So what you can do is you can, oh, I can't even remember how to do that. Oh, I can't remember those shortcut keys. You want to do a merge onto new layer. And I don't remember how to do that. I don't remember the shortcut key. You guys probably use it. Like, let me know if you know how to merge all contents on the new layer. There's a shortcut for that. So merge onto a new layer. Oh, thank you. Okay, Command Shift Alt E. Okay, that's a lot. Command Shift Alt E. Boom. Ah. Yeah, RB, you win. RB wins the contest for today. Whatever power user gets the Power User Award for today. Command Shift Alt E. Thank you so much. And then I think, what is it? Alt. I'm trying different things. Anyway. Okay, now you know. All right, let's move on, shall we? Thank you so much for that. Control E. I was seeing what Control E does as well. Control E. Control E. I don't know what. Oh, it merges down one layer. That's right. Okay, sweet. All right, we're getting the hang of it. Anyways, we can work on this some more. I'm going to turn that off. Again, these are finishing moves, as is mentioned by Jason Rose. Finish him. We don't want to do that just yet, but I think those are just some fun tips since we're getting into, different coloring and stuff like that. We can get more into that too if you want to. Super fun. Yeah, let's do that. So many things I want to do. Let's do this really fast. Let's show this real quick. Jump in here. I'm going to go to libraries. I'm going to grab a library item. Let's grab this branch. We'll bring it in here like so. There it is, nice and big, right? Huge. Scale it down. It's called a Composite Snapshot. Awesome. Thank you, RB. Appreciate having you around. All right, bring in this branch, move it on up there. Right, I've manipulated it. It will always remember the settings of a smart object. In fact, we can see right up in here in the properties panel, it's like changed it. You know, I rotated it at -108 degrees, right? Right in here, we can reset the transforms, or you can even always right click on an object and you can reset transform that way. So this is, I don't need to do this a lot, to be honest with you, but you could reset transform. What I will do is I'll convert it to layers, or I'll rasterize it. Converting it to layers will, I'm going to retain the transforms. You might not see it here because it was only one layer, but it basically converts that to one layer, so you're good. Okay. Here we go. We want to bounce around this file too as well. Check this out. I can do a Command T to, Command click to jump around the layers panel. Boom, 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 boom. See, we're jumping around the layers panel. But I can also go over here to my layers panel and like, okay, where is this olive branch? That's when I do an Option click and I've jumped to that olive branch right there. It's actually behind everything else, but that's why you want to do it. So if you can't find something, you want to Option click on that layer, the layer thumbnail, right? So that's how that's done. Option click, right? Another way to do that, and this is what we used to do, is you used to, and RB knows this, I'm sure Reverb Mike knows this, Option click on the eyeball will turn off everything except for that one item. So, two different ways of doing things. Okay. Jan, you're going to miss the document that I'm putting together. So again, here's the awesome document that I've been sharing with, that I kind of been clicking through all this stuff, by the way. History panel, layers panel, we did that. Shortcuts, all that stuff. You can do opacity 30% by hitting like 3, for instance. You can do math operations in any dialogue. You can convert a paragraph to point text, just so you know. A discovery panel I absolutely love. And then the highlight menu I already talked about. But I want to point out the discovery panel and then do a couple more things. I still am in the mode of like discovering things and then still tricking out Photoshop. So you ever want to know of anything, right up here, click on this magnifying glass, and now you're in the discover mode. So if you are looking for what is an obscure rotate? We could do a rotate, you know, because I want to rotate the image, and it shows me rotate transform. In fact, as I roll over it, it highlights it. If I want to find the smudge, where is the smudge tool? Oh, there is a smudge tool. Right over here, it highlights, oh, sorry, that's behind my head. But it'll highlight the smudge tool. So how awesome is this, by the way? I just think this is super cool. If you want to see how to use it or anything like that, hey, you can go into, if there's a tutorial on it, it will be listed down here. Also, there's smudge stick and other options in here as well. So that's just really cool. I don't know if most people realize that. So again, kind of neat. Let me click back over and take a drink of my coffee. All right, here's another thing I do, right? Look at me, by the way. I'm so fancy. I'm just so happy I cleaned up everything. I have everything in my libraries panel like all squared away because this is all the stuff I use. If I need to go find more things, I can search right in here. Let's see. Let me just double check this. Search in Adobe Stock. So I could do that. I can jump on there and search for tree, right? We'll see Adobe Stock results. Boom, there it is. I can add that. So we could do that from Adobe Stock. Another thing you can do is use plugins. So this is huge. You can see all the plugins I've added right here. But you could browse plugins. That's going to open up, wait for it. Browse plugins. That's going to open up Adobe Stock. You could find the plugins you want to add to Photoshop, what I'd encourage you to do. I use some of these, I'm not going to lie. Free stock search. There's stock solo, right? Just allowing you to search for, like brand fetch is another one. Just allowing you to search for stock photos or brands. So again, load that up, and then it's going to appear right in here. So I can go to brand fetch, for instance, or stock search pro. Stock search pro allows you to search, you know, download the high-res images. So let's do tree. And then it gives me all the trees. These are all free. So like, yeah, I have to do all that cutting out. But again, they're free and they don't cost me anything. So that's just, again, one plugin. And yeah, I would love to know your favorite. Here's brand fetch. So if you're like, hey, I want a logo, let's search for Photoshop because I want to show people that, oh, come on. Please enter a valid URL. Okay, Adobe. Invalid. I don't know. Maybe this one's broken for some reason. Again, it's a plugin. It doesn't have anything to do with us. Which, you know, it's like we're trying to vouch for them, but photo bucket. Oh, okay. Let's try this again. Adobe. So it's actually looking for enter a brand name or type a URL. So let's try. Let's see what happens if I do Photoshop.com. Okay, there we go. I typed in Photoshop.com. It wasn't finding the brand. It was able to find the URL. So from there, I can go ahead and take that and add that Photoshop logo, say right down there. Cool, cool. Anywho, you get the idea. I don't know, is this interesting to you guys? Are you entertained? Trash. Where the heck is my trash? All right, so I'm kind of missing a file I wanted to show you, but anyway, let's I'm not sure how interesting it was going to be for you. Let's take this, for instance. Boom. As you probably know, again, the quick object selection tool, we all know that it will automatically select the image, so we can go from there. Yeah, fun to discover things that you forget to use. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. I'm the exact same way. But again, now we have auto select, so you guys know about this. Boom, you know, I can go in and highlight that and select, say, that particular flower in this case. Another thing you can do, and it just depends on the image, but you have all of your quick actions for your layer. So if you have a pixel-based layer here, you can try remove background. Boom. Let's see what happens. It removes the background. So I don't need to worry about using my magic wand or any of that stuff. This is, as you guys know, this is where I always go. I always go to remove background and do it that way. Okay, then we can clean it up, right? Sometimes you have a problem with, gosh, choking an image. Sounds weird. Let me, let me just check things. I think it... Oh, I'm probably not actually on an image. Maybe that's the problem. Matting, here we go. So I have a matte selected. I want to sort of defringe or color decontaminate, remove a black matte, remove a white map. A lot of this stuff, I would say most of this stuff can be done in your quick mask mode, by the way. So if you double click, now you're within the sort of, I call it quick mask mode, or it was refined mask is what it was called. So a lot of that refining is in here, and then like shift edge, this is your choking, right? We're choking, but this choking will like only do so much. If you need to do more, that's when you want to go into your, select it, matting. You can always go into remove black matte, defringe, or color decontaminate. So these are just additional options. There's no black matte, but if there's a black matte there, you can remove it as well. So now you guys get the idea. Cool. So again, use that if you want. I had a different demo file for that. Like if you ever pull down a logo that has a black fringe around the edge, that's when you want to go into matting, remove black matte. So if this was on black, or maybe we could remove white matte, that's what will get you around that. So anyways, let's go back to our document. Ooh, this is cool. Did you know you could hold down the H and drag? So if you're really zoomed in on a project, like for this one, I'll really get into some of these details right in here. If you hold down the H and zoom out, this actually kind of snaps you out to bird's eye view. And then you can jump over to, say, this part and work on it, right? And pan around. You want to jump back out, hold down the H key, click and drag. We'll go down by the feet, start working on that. But the H key kind of bounces you in and out, as you can see. Cool. Okay, we've done that. Discovery panel. We're going through all this. Hopefully this is good for you. Let's get into shapes and type and fun stuff like that, if that works for you. Ooh, filter other. Minimum and maximum will also get rid of that feathering, like I was doing a second ago. So again, there's multiple ways to do things, right? If I go into minimum and maximum, we'll go into minimum. This will choke your matte as well. So I went into filter, other, minimum. It's doing it by whole integers here, right? We want to change this to round, and now we get points. So now we can kind of drag this through, and we can start to choke that more and more. Again, not a great example, but you get the idea, and I don't have a lot of time, so that's why I'm moving on. Where are the skulls? Oh, you know it. Where is the skull? There. I got plenty of skulls in here, so we can always add those at any point in time. All right. Oh, by the way, where are the skulls? I'll show you where the skulls are, my friend. We can get into scripts as well. Let's go out here. Let's open up this up. You know, I'll do these renders, by the way. The renders might be from different views or whatever, but I'll have multiple files that are all kind of the same. Maybe they're photos, but in this case, I have those 3 files, and yeah, I kind of want to blend them all together. I can go into scripts. We could load those files into a stack, because that's what I want to do. I want to put them all on individual layers. So we could actually go to folder. I'll browse to that folder. Just use that folder. And then we can automatically align the source images too. So again, typically, I mean, not always, but sometimes I might have moved the camera if I didn't lock it down. But that will line everything up. And this just loads everything on individual layers. The thing I love about this, though, Tim and Steve and everyone, is that it names the layers the name of the file. So I know where it came from, and it's just like more descriptive, which is awfully cool. All right, thank you, Lorianne. I see you out there on LinkedIn. Very cool. Priyanka as well, right? So again, now I can jump in here and start to work on this. Sure enough, all the layers are there. So that's layer stacking. And there's skulls for Tim, since he jokingly asked about it. Another thing I'll do a lot of is I'll have Bridge open. Right, so we've loaded a bunch of images in as a stack, you know, but you could also use Bridge. You can go to a particular file. So that's what I'll do. I'll go into, you know, these, and, you know, here's some images that I'm thinking about using for a project. I'll just go through and select them. Selecting all these ones, I want to combine this woman with some flowers because I'm just so original. All my stuff is so different. And then go to Tools, and we're still talking about Photoshop. We'll go to Photoshop. Sure enough, load files into Photoshop layers. So this might make it easier to select a bunch of files and load into layers, and then just kick back. You're like, hey, I think I will have some of this. Whatever flavor coffee this is. I don't even remember at this point. It will go through and do all of that, as you can see. All right. I will share my notes at the end of the stream. Cool. So there's everything. Like I mentioned before, everything's going to have the name of that layer, for better or for worse in this case. Cool. Let's move on. Oh, I wanted to move on with different shapes and stuff too. So let's just take her, because this is a fun image. I like this. Let's add a gradient in the background. We'll do something like that. We will cut her out. I'll do it the easy way by remove background. Right? Cuts her out. We'll shrink her down. We'll add some cool shapes kind of around her, right? So I'm thinking, okay, I want to add some circles, right? So I'll take this. I'm going to add a circle shape. It's going to have a stroke of white. Fill, maybe there is no fill. I actually do not want a fill. But let's make sure the stroke is thick enough so we could all see it. Right? I'll draw out a circle like so. So here's our circle. There it is. Easy enough. Right? I want this circle to go around the center point, like make a bunch of them, like all the way around. Like, how the heck are you going to do that? I don't know. Why don't you tell us, Paul? You set it up. All right, I will. Good call. I'm going to hold, oh gosh, I wish I could remember these shortcut keys, but it's in my notes that you guys are getting. Command Option T, Command Option T. Right up here, you want to turn on your center point, right? That's going to give you this little center point. So I can move that center point right down here, right? Remember, I held down, I hope I did this right, but I'll refer to my notes. The reason I'm holding down Option is it will, I don't know, we're going to find out, will allow me to move it. Oh yeah, it does. So if you hold down the Option key when you transform, it's duplicating the item, right? So I can move it over this way, right? In fact, let's undo that. Let's go right over here. Oh, I can't do that by properties. Interesting. Anyways, I'm just going to kind of move it over here like so. Might not get this perfect the first time. And I'll hit Enter. Right? So the Option T will make a duplicate, but now I need to do this lots of times. So at this point, it's going to be Command Option Shift Command Option T. So it's like all of the modifier keys. Shift Command Option T. And then it makes, oh darn, it didn't do it around the center. I guess I don't know how to do that part. Oh, somebody's going to learn. Somebody's going to learn how to do this. I'll try this again. Move this down. Ah! Why can't it? Okay. Yeah, I gotta work on this some more. I'm having some problems with that. But you do know how to actually like create all your duplicates that way. Because I think a lot of people don't know that you can actually sort of create those duplicates literally by going in, Option T, move it over, for instance, Shift Command Option T, and there you get all your different versions. Like so. Okay. Anyways, we'll figure it out. There's an angle thing somewhere. So what was interesting is that in this properties panel, this was grayed out because I was already in the transform mode. So it's a whole confusing thing. So anyways, there we have all of our dots. We can merge our shapes, right? We could bring that down like so. We could start to sort of work with some text, right? We'll jump in here. Like that. We'll add our text like so. Bring that up. Do some fun pro tips really fast. So we have this word dance. Let's crank up the spacing. I mean, that looks good. I probably would leave it alone, but instead I want to show you some more pro tips. As we jump out here, we can add a drop shadow. In this case, this drop shadow is not going to have, we're going to take the size down. We're going to change the color to hot pink, and we're just going to offset the distance by 10 pixels, right? So that's what I'm doing. 135 degrees offset, a spread of about 14. So that's all I'm going to kind of keep in mind. Click OK. Boom. Right, so there it is. From there, actually, just so you know, I can add as many of these drop shadows as I want. So I'm kind of remembering these numbers. I'll go in here, I'll add another one. Again, same angle, this time 20, and a different color. Let's get into, we're not doing pure colors, but I'm creating this nice little stacking. That's all I'm doing. You can add as many of these as you want. You just got to up this by maybe 10 each time. So this one would be 30. And let's make this one a gold. See what's happening? Boom, boom, boom. All right. Thing is, you only want to do this once. So add your stacking, which is really cool. And then save it as a style, right? So come in here, click. This is my offset style, or whatever. Call it what you want. Then you have that saved. Obviously, you're going to want to have different versions of that, you know, or you can see just all the different ones that are actually in here. Whether you want some sweet candy versions, they're like so, and you guys get the idea. Okay, I'm down to my last 30 seconds or so. So, I mean, I think we have covered a lot. Let me go back. Let me share this with you guys real fast. Let's take this. Let's copy it. Let's paste it in chat. Thanks for hanging out with me. I felt kind of like a jerk just even withholding this from you. Shame on me. And yeah, here's where a trust comes into play. All right. Anyone can edit this. Don't jack it up, okay? But feel free. I just made that editable because I want you guys to add your own favorite feature, and I trust you as adults. So thank you so much, guys. You guys are awesome. Hope you guys appreciated this. There's more tips that I needed to get to and just things that I constantly think about, but that's why I have these master classes every week. So thanks so much. Viola, Alexander, Michelle out there on LinkedIn, Edgar, what's up? Priyanka, you guys are awesome. Appreciate you guys. Stick around. Yeah, day full of master classes. I think Jason is up next. So thank you so much. You guys are fantastic. We'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.